Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Follow Everton. This is Ryan, your channel admin, here to react to Everton's crushing defeat at home to Southampton. And I'm sorry, this is the pivotal moment in the season for us. 19 games played, 3 wins. We have officially the worst record in the league. The only thing keeping us from being rock bottom is goal difference. We've been out of both cup competitions in the first round, and it's a complete horror show for me. Frank Lampard has got to go, completely out of his depth. The players are an embarrassment and a disgrace. The board are spineless. The recruitment is brain dead. And I honestly think now we're at the point where this is the moment where we're going to go down this season. We are going to be relegated, and I think we need to accept this reality because we haven't got the goals in the team. We haven't had the goals all season, and everyone knew this coming into the season. There's not one person who looked at our squad and thought there was goals. Look at the record for the players. Iwobi's never been a goal scorer. Gordon and Gray, they've never been goal scorers. Calvert-Lewin can't stay fit. We never had the goals, and you're expecting something out of nothing. And we're at the point now where this is what a normal fan expected. We haven't got the goals. We're not getting the results. We can't score goals. We can't keep a clean sheet either because we're trying to compensate for the lack of goals by changing the style, leaving us very open. The goals today weren't even that. I mean, the first one, Ben Godfrey slides in. He's nowhere near the ball. The second one, Jordan Pickford leaves one of the best free kick takers in the league, acres and acres of space to shoot the ball into. He doesn't even move because he knows he's not getting there, but it was pathetic. I'm going to try and get some of the lads in now. So if you just bear with me 1 minute, that would be great. I believe we have got Jeff coming in to the stream and John. Can someone confirm in the comments whether they can hear me, just because I'm still in the Caribbean and the Wi-Fi upload speed isn't great. Ironically, I wasn't actually meant to be watching this game today. We were meant to be in the Bahamas private island Coco Cay, and the weather is so bad, so they cancelled the port. And so instead of going on a water park and having fun and drinking in the sun, I am sat in the hotel room, utterly deflated. Thanks, guys, for confirming. Deflated. I think we're all at our wits' end. I want to know in the comments, has Lampard got to be sacked? There's some people saying that he shouldn't go, but there's two arguments to this for me. He's been really badly under-equipped, but he also signed off the players. He signed off the signings of Dwight McNeil. He signed off the signings of Neil Mopay. He signed off Ruben Vinagre. He's bought shite players in January. He's bought shite players in the summer. The club is on a downward spiral. And I just don't see, because we've got no money to spend. There's no hope. But this is the worst record of any Everton manager that I can recall. This is the lowest point in our club's history, where we are at 19th in the league. The only thing keeping us from being rock bottom is goal difference. We've lost in the Cup's first time. And I think regardless of the fact that he's been under-equipped and had his best player sold and the recruitment's been bad, the performances, the results, everything involved is utter dross. It's utter garbage. And if he keeps his job after this, it just further shows a complete lack of leadership, a lack of awareness, and they're all brain dead. I'd shoot a lot of them, honestly. I've got Jeff coming in now.
Pilgrim striker hit the crossbar from close range, but
Hey, mate.
to score. But then we did get.
Sorry, I'm just finishing my fag.
The opener for the hosts on 63 minutes after Luke Wolverton's delicate layoff.
Hello, mate. You all right? Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Everton are going down post-match reaction. Like,
you mute that. Yeah.
Sorry. Oh God, sorry.
Let's go back to Goodison Park.
Apologies.
To Southampton on the bottom.
Apologies. Yeah, I'm saying welcome to the Everton are going down post match because this team is going down. Now, I've had arguments with Danny on the stream for the past 2-3 months, and he said that we're better than this and we can play better than this. And I've tried telling him we're not better than this. We aren't. I'm sorry, but we're not. I watched that. Well, I didn't watch it. I listened to it today. I couldn't find the stream, so I listened to it on the radio. And I can't fault the effort. I can't fault the tactics particularly. We went with the 3 at the back. And for a while it worked. We put in a lot of effort. We tried changing the system when they equalised. We tried different things, but it just simply comes down to the fact that we're just not a very good football team. We are not a good football team. We've got bang average players.
No, they're not average, Jeff. They're well below that.
Yeah,
keep us up.
Yeah, it's just an expression. But
what you're trying to say
well,
is,
Onana played well. You know, other people tried hard, but there's just a lack of quality. And yeah, we're a poor side. We aren't good enough. We're just not good enough. That's a simple fact. Is you looked at when it came to it, yeah, we got a goal from a set piece and that was nice, fine, okay. But realistically, that was the only way we were scoring. We nearly got a goal off a sort of deflected shot from DCL. But other than that, we weren't really threatening. And you look at the quality of Ward-Prowse coming on, and we've got nothing like that. We've got no one to compare to that who could do that. Like, I can't remember the last time we had someone who scored a free kick. We are a relegation side. We are definitely one of the worst sides in the league. We are getting relegated, and we deserve to get relegated because we're not good enough. It's a simple, like, if you're going to stay in the division, you have to show something, some level of quality that says you're good enough to stay in this division. And we don't. That's 4-5 home defeats on the row. I think it's our worst home record in the league since 1953 or 5 or something like that. Someone just said it's since the 50s. 4 wins. 3 wins all season. Again, we're not getting shots in. We're not threatening teams. We're a poor side. We're getting relegated, and the board are hiding and making excuses and putting out lies and trying to blame the fans and say that that's the reason they didn't go the match. They didn't go the match today because they don't want to face the criticism directly that they know is coming, and the criticism is deserved because they've took our club to this position, and I blame the board entirely for this. This is all on the board, the owner. We're a shower of a club, and yeah, I'm done. Looking forward to the championship next year. We might win a few matches. Go on, Ryan.
Where's Ryan gone?
I'm just
I
listening.
don't know, mate. He's probably jumped off the boat.
Do you know what, though? One thing I will say is that we should have won the game. Like, we was in the game. We played well. Some of our players played well for me. Onana had a cracking game. Jeff, the thing is, and I'll point two things out to you now. The game was 50-50, which we expected, which we said, we're not going to batter them. The game was 50-50. Their goal, Tarkowski and Cody being dragged out of position, basic stuff, dragged out of position and left Ward-Prowse by him frigging self. When he's the main threat, Ward-Prowse by himself and leaving Godfrey with him one-on-one. I don't even know why Cody went over to Tarkowski, because all Tarkowski was doing was winning a header. So why Cody needs to help him win a header, I don't know. I haven't got a bloody clue, but these are two experienced defenders, right? So they've gone over, they've gone two players to head a ball, left Godfrey by himself. Ward-Prowse free, one-on-one with Godfrey. Ward-Prowse free to have a shot. Then Ward-Prowse has a shot. And this is the problem, Jeff. We've let them score. Me and you said we've got to if they score against us, make it hard for them to score against us. We gifted it in that goal. And by the way, we was better than them at this point. It was 50-50, but we was 1-0 up first half, had the better half, had loads of chances. So I can't grumble with us first half. But to come out second half, experienced defenders like Cody and Tarkowski, who, by the way, Cody says, oh, we haven't defended bad the last couple of games. No, you've let 6 goals pass you with Man United and Brighton. Of course you've defended bad. You've been the problem centre-backs. And the centre-backs gave them the goal today. You can't give them the goal back to make it 1-1 that easy. I blame the centre-backs for that. I don't blame the other players because they was better.
That's the thing is I'm not disagreeing with you, like saying we tried hard and we had the better of the game in patches, but ultimately we lost because we didn't have the killer edge.
Because we didn't defend that part. That's where you lose the game. As soon as you let that goal in, that's not the whole team. That's just them.
How many times can we say it's mistakes or it's this or it's that? It's simply the fact that we aren't good enough.
They are moments that win and lose you the game, though.
Yeah, yes, I know, but that's the whole point. Is if we're not good enough, we make mistakes. And that's
you can't blame the whole team for that, though. You've got to look at Connor Cody and Tarkowski.
A lot of them.
So it's their fault their fault that the defenders did that. The two players should defend better than that, Jeff. You can't go and say, "Oh, Nana, you're not good enough," because Tarkowski and Cody don't do that.
Was the player who came out.
But you said they're not good enough. Sometimes every player represents themselves, and they were shit. Cody and Tarkowski were shit.
Right, exactly, and that's the level that they're at.
The level the defenders was at, the defender.
Right, so that's a point. If our defense is poor, it's because they're not very good. Because if they were good, they wouldn't make these mistakes.
Basic shit that was.
If it was like once, then fine. But it's consistently week after week after week they're making the same mistakes. So that's not mistakes. That's lacking of quality, lacking of mental ability, lack of organisation, lack of planning, forethought. It's just lacking of everything. We're not good enough. It's as simple as that. We're a poor side, and we keep getting beat. And it might be a close margin, but it's still a defeat, and that's 3 wins all season. We're basically not good enough to stay in this league. That's the fact. We're not good enough to stay in this league. Sorry.
Genuinely.
Sorry?
Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go on.
Yeah.
I'm dropping out my own stream because the signal's so bad, and I'm popping John in.
Brilliant. Hello, John.
But all I'm going to say is you're both right, but you're both wrong. These players they're just shite. You've signed Toffees from relegated Burnley. He took them down. He was part of a defence that got relegated. You signed Cody, who was a reject from Wolves. They didn't want him anymore. They've foreseen it. You signed Michaelenko from Ukraine, from a weak league in Ukraine where he's playing for the best team there, to come to a poor Premier League team. You've got Coleman, who's like nearly 50 years old, playing right back. You've got Garner, who's finished. Onana, who was outstanding today, actually doesn't deserve any, discredit. He was brilliant.
No. Yeah.
But the them are a shit show. I mean, I'm only going to make 2 very quick points just on the goals, and then I'm going to bring in John.
We gave on both the goals. They're the points. We gave on both. Gordon come and gave a free kick where you shouldn't give it. And the other one, Cody and Tarkowski, shit communication. 2 goals given, free pass. That's how they beat us.
They both went to the same ball, and Ben Godfrey needs to stand his ground, but he goes to the floor and makes it easy for.
Yeah, but there should be 2 players. There should be 2 players there, Ryan. If they both don't go to the ball, Godfrey's got backup and he doesn't have to go to the ground.
And the second one, Jordan Pickford's massively at fault for that. As much as Gordon didn't need to make the tackle there, because the phase of play had finished. That move had broken down a bit. They counter-attacked us because we gave the ball away so cheaply from our own corner. That's how bad we are.
Gordon's fault, that. Gordon fault.
Doesn't make a foul, but the keeper leaves him like...
Don't need to foul there.
Yeah, but the keeper leaves him like 75% of the goal to aim at. It was so bad. The goalkeeping
What's
was
the
so
wall
bad.
doing as well?
The goalkeeping was so bad. I'm sorry, but it was really poor. Really basic stuff. Both goals were really basic. They're a disgrace. A lot of them, they're an absolute disgrace. I'd get rid of Frank Lampard immediately right now. The board are a joke for leaving us this under-equipped. The players are shite, but they're also a disgrace as well. But it's difficult because these aren't the overpaid big bunch of players we sign for big bucks. These are a lot of rejects and free transfers and youth products. So it's how you judge it. But I judge it on the fact that we're Everton Football Club and this isn't good enough. That's my assessment. I'm going to bring in John. If I can get back in, I will. And I'll catch you in a minute.
Okay.
All right, boys. How we doing?
Hey up, boy. All right.
Yeah, been better. The only reason I'm still wearing the shirt is because I'm about to go to the gym. It's honestly some of the worst football I've ever seen. There's no on a game which means everything to our season. Arguably, probably the biggest game of our season. We look deflated. We look tired. We have moments of hope and a glimpse of promise, but a match isn't made up of just small little moments. You have to be switched on and ready and there for it for all 90 minutes of the game. We come out at half-time with a 1-0 lead. Great, brilliant. And then straight away, we go and piss it away after 1 minute of playing. If we come out, we should be there and think, right, we've got a 1-0 lead. Let's either go and get 2 and secure the game or just play and defend absolutely flawlessly. And the first thing we do is go and concede and we piss it all away. And then again, I know you boys have talked about the goals. We've had a defensive error in the first one and then Pickford and Godfrey questionable about the second. But honestly, our errors are going forward. Gray today, I've been a big defender of Gray and I thought he was a very promising, good player. Some of his passing and just the way he pisses away possession has been diabolical and he's had an absolute shitter of a game. He could have played the ball through to Coleman and his corners delivery. Every single time they were cleared by the first man with a header. There are so many simple things that we can be doing. When we're going forward as well, it's always passing back or looking, who's free? It's always going backwards. We should be turning around and injecting a bit of pace and determination into the team and moving forward and actually have a go at them. I don't know why Sims wasn't brought on earlier. I think we haven't used him at all this season. And on a team where you don't have a striker, what's the worst that could happen? You send someone up who's young, determined, passionate, wants to play. And instead we just have the likes, we just don't have anything going forward. It's infuriating, it's deflating, it's depressing. And honestly, I think it's safe to say that we are going down. I don't see any possible way that we can stay up. We are by far the worst team in the league. We've lost to Wolves like 2 weeks ago, who were bottom of the table then. We then go and get a draw to Man City. Someone explains how that worked. And now we're back again losing to the bottom team in the league. And we've got West Ham next, who are also on the exact same points as us. And I guarantee you will lose that game as well. And then it will be set in stone that we'll be relegated. And I know, again, that everyone is unhappy with the board. Lampard, a few weeks ago, I think it was probably a month and a bit ago, I said keep him in. But I am so Lampard out now. It's so beyond a joke. We've played 19 games now, and we've won 3. We've lost and drawn more games combined concern there. But we've lost and drawn a crazy amount of games. We've only won 3, and we're halfway through the season. That he's got one of the lowest records of a manager that we've ever had, and it's honestly a joke. And I know the board are a big issue here, but honestly, can you really blame the board for us only winning 3 games halfway through a season? Like, I know they're a big part of the issue, and they should be gone. But at the same time, we are so in the pit.
I don't blame the board for the results game to game. I blame the board for the situation that we're in. That we come to a transfer window in the summer, and we can't afford to buy players except on Klarna, like kids that no one's heard of from France. Onana, like I said, I'm not going to give Onana any criticism because he was by far and away our best player today. But, you look at the players that we brought in and the deals we brought them in on, we were clearly just doing it because we've got no money. We've got no money because we've been financially mismanaged. We've been financially mismanaged because we've got an owner with an ego who had dreams of challenging at the top table and went out and just wasted a huge ton of money like on a vanity project because he failed to do the one thing he should have done when he bought the club, which is change the board, change everyone in the background and get people in who are professionals to run the football club and to make the football decisions. Well, that's not what we did. So we've got like director of footballs buying players. We've got like the chairman buying players. We've got Managerial on his boat down in Monaco buying players off someone he's recommended from that Viper from his mate fucking Jurabashian. And so we've put ourselves in this position. Well, we've not put ourselves in this position. They've put us in this position. And yes, I blame. Yes, Frank isn't doing a very good job. But at the same time, this is the worst squad I've ever seen. Like I walked out of the last game after 75 minutes when we were 4-0 down to Brighton. Ashamed, like genuinely ashamed and embarrassed to be an Everton fan. Because that was a pathetic and spineless performance. Now, today, we tried harder, like there was effort, but the clear lack of quality is there for all to see. And
the same mistakes have been made time and time again.
Yeah, it's inevitable when you've got players who lack quality, they will make mistakes. So yes, those mistakes are why we concede goals today, but they're the kind of mistakes that poor players make consistently. That's the point. Is yes, those mistakes led to those goals today, but those mistakes are not. What's that expression? They're not a bug. They're the system. It's literally they're not. These mistakes aren't something that happens like just occasionally or whatever. These are mistakes that happen every single game, week after week after week. So if it's not one kind of mistake, it's another kind of mistake. If it's not like for a lack of effort, it's for another. There's always an excuse for why we've lost. And realistically, when it comes down to it, and I'm sorry, it's blunt, it's brutal, we lost because they've got more quality than us. Ward-Prowse
we lost because we're shit.
Our side. Yeah, Ward-Prowse would walk into our side all day, every day, and half of the Southampton team would. And they looked like a team in the second half, desperate for a point, desperate for a win, desperate to get something from the game. And we looked like a side that were out of ideas, that worked hard and tried, but just don't have the quality.
It's also infuriating. We had some chances, and I was screaming as well. There were so many chances, and we actually could have had better. But the ideas aren't there, and their vision is not there. Calvert-Lewin, there was a chance where he tried to cut it across goal, and the defender or the keeper got a touch on it and sent it away. He could have easily cut that back to Iwobi, who was in acres of space in front of the goal, not at a shit angle, and buried that. And there you go, we're back in it. Or I think we would have actually been ahead there. There was Ben Godfrey, who again he was at like space. The keeper had moved, and then he ended up miskicking it, or he didn't have the right idea, or he didn't see it properly. But there's these chances that we're just not taking, whereas every other team, we'd be getting that. The second balls that we try and win, we lose every second ball. It's all these repetitive errors, which is why I'm confident we are the worst team in the league. Since we got rid of David Moyes, we have not had one permanent long-term manager who has actually made some successful buys. We've had so many millions of pounds wasted away on either has-been people or people that are supposed to be the next big thing and don't turn up. And we've wasted a fortune on them. And every single season, these teams that are below us, when we were finishing 5th, 6th, 8th, every other team below us has slowly started to improve. And we just have stayed exactly where we are and got worse. And that's why we're in the position we are today.
Yeah,
we have also now...
We've gone backwards.
Yeah. Exactly. And now we are going to be one of the biggest jokes in the whole of European football in a championship league with the biggest stadium out there. We're developing a new stadium, which will be great, but we can't even stay in the Premier League. No one's going to want to come to the new stadium and watch this team when we're in the absolute pits. It's an absolute joke, this entire club at the moment. And the board and the poor management and the poor spending over the last 10 or so years has led us to where we are now. And we are absolutely rock bottom.
Yeah. Go on, Dan.
Like I say, I'm not going to go off the wagon more than what I should. I'm only going to, because I'm pissed off, I'm actually going to, like I say, the first half I was happy with. And I think you two probably would have been as well. First half was good enough. First half, we was 1-0 up. And we had a few chances and we was all right. We was getting on the ball. We was turning it over. Our midfield was quickly on to them. We was pressing. Calvert-Lewin was running about more than what he normally does. And I was thinking, yes, if we keep like this, we'll win. We're 1-0 up. And I was happy with the first half. So I'm not going to say, like, probably you two are saying that, we shit the whole game, because the first half I was happy with.
It wasn't
1-0 up.
It wasn't a good first half performance.
It was not a good first half
average.
performance.
And we got an okay goal.
They didn't score first half, did they?
No, because Pickford made an amazing save. Like
was it one save that he had to make, or two? Two saves maximum.
It was a knife-edge game, and we got the goal.
Right, first half, we got a good goal, an okay goal, and we didn't concede. But
with the players that we've got, by the way, because don't all of a sudden think we've got the best team in the world. You all said we're shit, exactly. Yeah, but Jeff, we already said it's going to be a game where we're just going to have to ride our luck and stick in it. With the players that we've got, was you happy with the first half? Because I don't know why you're expecting some of these players that you say ain't good enough to come out and absolutely smash Southampton. I was happy with the first half. I was happy with the first half for what it was.
Sam, the difference is the first half, it was an all right performance. Now, I'm not taking anything away from that.
However, what they can do, that's what they could do.
It's not 45 minutes.
I already put that.
To maintain that across the whole 90 and to come out and 1 minute into the first half
I've already said that on the channel.
Stuck back. It's not.
I've already said that on the channel. I've just said at the start of the channel, the first half I'm saying was okay, but to come out second half and let them back into the game so easy, Connor Cody and Tarkowski, was just stupid.
They were the better side the first half, and I thought we were really lucky to be going in a goal up, because
the commentator said it was 50-50.
Yeah, but they had good chances and they could have scored. We had one chance and scored
50-50.
So basically we got in at half time 1-0 up, but not on the strength of playing well. This is the thing I'm arguing about, is we were 1-0 up, but don't pretend that was a good half of football, because it wasn't. We got a goal.
I said it was. I said for what we said, Jeff. You said as well on the other channel. But you said on the other channel. You said we've got to just play. Yes, you said we're not going to play pretty football, and that's what we played. So what are you expecting us to do?
I'm not expecting that. What I'm saying is that was the best. That was the best we could do. Was struggle through a half and try and nick a goal, which we did.
Yeah, exactly.
But eventually, the quality tells. And we don't have it, and I watched that. I listened to that first half, and I was worried. And I spoke on Twitter with a few people, and I was like, I don't feel confident for the second half at all. And they scored immediately, and then they started out playing us immediately after that. And I was convinced
got the confidence
that the
from the goal
was coming. And
I'm going to be honest.
They just played better football than us.
I'm going to be honest. Also, Dan, you say that like, oh, it was a good half of football, and I know we lack the quality, so you could argue that we're happy with how we played there. But at the moment, it is so difficult and frustrating to even try and analyse the football when we are such a shit team. And I'm not even saying that just because we've lost one game. The whole season has been an absolute abysmal joke from start to finish. We've got one good result, which was City, in the last, I can't even remember how long. Every single time, I used to be excited.
Sorry, you've gone.
Hang on, I'm here.
Am I back? Hello?
Hang on.
Hello, you're back.
Dan, your pre-season...
sorry, Ryan, can I finish quickly?
Go on.
The pre-season prediction, Ryan, is nothing to do with anything.
I used to be excited to turn on the TV and watch Everton. You never know what's going to happen. We could get a great result, but I'd be excited to watch. And even when we lost, I'd be like, oh, it's okay. Doesn't matter. We go again next week. Every single time I go and watch Everton now, I actually can't be asked. Before we've even kicked off, I'm like, this is going to ruin my week. We already know what's going to happen. We're going to lose. And not just that, we're going to get battered. All these teams which we should be beating, we lose to. We just do not have the quality. And I reckon we're going to struggle in the Championship next season because we are so poor. Even in the Championship now, if you think we're going to be winning every game, coming back up, no worries, it's a little blip. You are so deluded. We are going to struggle so hard as well. And we are genuinely the worst team in the league. And I don't know how we can sit here and be like, yeah, you know what? The first half, it was okay. We played all right. Considering
but you're chatting shit there, Jonathan. You're chatting shit because I actually said for what we are, the first half was okay. You think we're going to come out amazing and be the old Everton and be a David Moyes Everton? Look at the players and look at the players. No, you're deluded. Look at the players and what do you expect from them? You think with a click of the fingers they're going to be the team that you want and play pretty football that you want to see all the time? It's bullcrap. Look at the players and
he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He's trying to shut us all up. No, what we're saying is
Jeff, same with you as well.
That we're not good enough. That's
everybody knows that. And exactly, if we're not that good, that first half wasn't bad, was it? That's all I was saying.
Right. Okay. So that's the whole point.
Jeff, you changed like the weather as well.
No, we're not deluded.
You changed like the weather. First half, you messaged me. You was okay, happy. We need to come out second half.
Good. So deluded, right?
Can I say
you was first half because you was happy with the first half. You messaged me. You was happy with the first half.
Hang on. I want to interject. I'm interjecting here.
Go on,
everyone. I think there's a difference between being happy and being happy by the standards of what we've become accustomed to now. I mean, I watched that first half and thought, this is not entertaining. This is not good football. We're not battering Southampton. We're not in control of the game. But by the standards of what we've been witnessing this season, which is arguably the worst Everton team in the Premier League history, which takes some doing, it was okay. We were quite good by that standard.
Exactly.
Expectations have been level.
My point.
Our expectations have sunk so low that that was good. But the reality is it's not good. We're not a good team. We're a bad, poor team. We've bought poorly.
I didn't say it was a good team, by the way.
I made an assessment on Twitter just now. By the way, someone was giving me some shit in the comments for saying I was setting up the stream and then fucking off. I'm actually on holiday, but one of the ports that I was meant to be going to, the private island in the Bahamas, got cancelled. So I stayed in to watch the Everton game. So this was the booby prize I didn't want. And the signal's not great. That's why I've not been on the stream. But if you can hear me, then great. We've tried the changing of the guard, changing of the managers. We've tried changing of the director of football. So this is the third director of football. This is like the 8th manager we've had. We've gone through player after player. We invested big money. The players didn't work out. They've been on high salaries, and we've been forced to let them go for free. We've been forced to let them go on cheap, and most of them have run the contracts down. So now we are paying the price. We have no option but to sign the dregs, sign the dross on the cheap. And the reality is we aren't good enough because the players aren't that good. And we just, I am accepted the fact now we probably are going to get relegated. It's killing us all. It's killing us all. And that's why we're all arguing with each other. It's not personal. No one's having personal fights. No. But everyone's at the end of the tether with it all. If I was at Goodison, I would have stayed behind and protested because I think they reap what they sow. They're the ones who spent the money. They're the ones who recruited badly. They're the ones who made the bad decisions. and they are the reason ultimately we're in the mess. As Lord Sugar would say, you are the weakest link. Goodbye. You're fired. Blah blah. You all make good points. I mean, it's hard to even look at the individual parts of the goals. You know, you're talking about the two mistakes of the defenders. It's hard to really focus on these errors when it's an overarching problem here. This is 19 games. We've played 21 matches this season. The preseason was shite. We didn't look like scoring. Anyone who
Last season was shite as well. We got rid of Richarlison and had no person to replace anywhere near the quality that we had.
Yeah.
And he saved us last season.
Was garbage. The preseason was garbage. We knew it was coming. Even this little mini break where we went and played Celtic and got battered, and then we played the other team. Didn't we play some American team and get our ass whooped in the preseason? I mean, you know,
yeah, Minnesota, I think.
He deserves to go. Let's be honest. That manager's got to go. But you have to judge him in a different context to other managers.
Can we even afford to sack him, though? I know this sounds like a stupid thing to say, but can we even, like, I mean, genuinely from a financial point of view, like, we can't afford to buy players, like, right, in the situation the club is in, right, if you are a competent board and you were well running the club, you would have looked at this window and gone, like, after the Bournemouth results, you would have seen, like, the manager was out of his depth, and you'd have gone, right, let's change the manager, let's bring in someone, whether it's Allardyce, whether it's someone else, and then we've got, like, a pre-season and whatever time to, like, coach some of these players, and then we need to bring in 2 or 3 quality additions up front, and we need to get them in on day one, January the 1st, bosh. And we didn't do that. And that says to me that we can't afford to do that. That's the simple fact is we can't afford to go out and go bosh and sign 3 or 4 players. We're linked with Elanga on loan. We're linked with some guy from Spain on loan with a view to a permanent if we survive. I think that this club is planning on relegation, and they don't want to risk spending any money and putting themselves in an even worse financial position. This club stinks of desperation and just emptiness. We are going down, and I think they know it, and that's why they didn't turn up today. And then they put out this statement saying, "Oh, like blah blah blah." Helen Barrett-Baxendale had been put in a headlock and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, well, hang on a minute, this is like that happened on the 11 days ago, and there's no police report, there's no video, there's no nothing to say that this has happened, and they've had death threats and all this kind of stuff, and it's like, well, hang on a minute, where's the proof of this? You're putting out a claim 3 days before the game because you know there's a protest coming, because you know that this club is in the shit, and you know it's your fault, and you're hiding and you're putting excuses and you're trying to put the blame onto the fans. This is all their fault. They're a disgrace. And I've said this before, and people shot me down for it, but getting relegated, if that gets rid of this lot of shower, like, then maybe it's a price worth paying, because, like, this club is done. It's a spent force. Like, we are where we are because we deserve to be there.
I've got to head off, boys, but it was an interesting one. But
John,
good
thanks.
to speak to you, boys.
John,
and
thanks.
I'll speak to you soon.
John, thanks for popping on, mate. Appreciate it. We're going to bring in Stevie now in a moment. I think everyone's made some valid points. Just a few statistics now, if it changes your context. I mean, I said you have to judge the manager based on this current context, which is he hasn't had the money to spend that the others have had. He hasn't had the players that the others have. But also, this is the worst Everton team we've recalled in the Premier League era. Southampton got their first win at Goodison since 1997. Everton have won 3 in 19 games. They've won the least out of any team in the league. Out of both cups in the second, don't give them the time of day. Out of both cups in the. This is what happens when the channel gets bigger.
Yeah, just chat shit. Go and support the Red Shark. Why would I want to do that, mate? I'd rather support us shit than support the fucking Red Shark.
They
It's what
Who
it is.
also got battered today, by
They
the way.
got battered,
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. I don't know why you're talking about them when they got battered by Brighton as well.
I'm going to bring in Stevie in a moment, but just
And spent more, by the way, and spent more.
That point. Just that point. Hang on. Southampton first win at Goodison since 1997. That's 25 years. 3 wins at home in 19, out of both cup competitions, and least amount of wins in the league. This is the worst record I think I could ever recall at a midpoint of a season. And even if you take away the context of, he has had the money, he's still got an international striker in Calvert-Lewin. He's got 2 international centre-backs. All 3 of them actually have been capped. A Ukraine international left-back, England's goalkeeper, the Republic of Ireland captain, Senegal player, a midfielder who starts for Belgium. So
doesn't matter.
It's just you have to say he's still not doing enough.
But Ryan,
to get Onana playing.
Those players that you talk about when you say sometimes he's got the international this is like we need them to be that, and there wasn't that.
Yeah, well, they're not. They don't get capped anymore.
They're just not. They're not. They've got to be that. They've got to. Cody's got to be that person that saves your ass when you need him the most, and he was shit today, for me, in my opinion.
Jeff, you're in charge of getting rid of these knobheads. By the way, like and subscribe if you're new here. You don't have liking the video doesn't constitute liking the situation. It just helps the algorithm with us. And subscribe, of course. I think we're approaching 1,600, so just do that for us. I'm sure there's quite a few, at least half of you. I'd say 150 of you watching or haven't subscribed. So can you hit that subscribe button for us? And misery loves company, as they say. Just a shout out to Everton Rose. She's saying Sean Dyche, she's not too impressed with some of the options we've been linked with for managers. Stevie, let's bring you in, Stevie. And I'm going to just drop out and let Stevie have a moment to speak, but I'm still in the back end.
Thanks, Ryan. I spoke to Ryan at half time. I've watched the entire screen. Hi, guys. Obviously, the circumstances are similar to what we're accustomed to at this point. It's difficult to know where to start without retracing old ground, which I won't do. Simple fact of the matter is, anyone that kind of thought Lampard was going to be the right manager to see us through to the new stadium needs to take a hard look at themselves, because the reality of the situation is we're going to have the best stadium in the Championship at this current rate, and I think we'll struggle to be top half of the Championship with this side. It is atrocious. It is the worst side I've watched in my lifetime.
You're breaking up a little bit, just so you know. You're breaking up a little bit on the volume. It's crackling on mine. Is it yours as well, Jeff?
Yeah.
Just to let you know, so you know where you're at. That's all. Just to let you know, in case you go look back and see that you've been breaking up. He never normally breaks up. He's got all the tools. I don't know why it's breaking up. I just want to let you know because you'd want to know.
I feel sick, mate. I do. I do. But we all do. If
just about something that I wanted to say, if anyone, I haven't been to the game. Can you drop in the comments how the protest went after the game, please? If you was in the protest, how you felt it went.
I also feel that's why we've got fewer people on than we normally do, because there's so many people to stay behind. So we're gonna have
I want to know how it went, Steve, because it didn't show as much as I wanted on the TV.
No, of course not. I mean, I'm so frustrated by that point. I switched off, but yeah, they don't show it. Sean Dyche is 6-4 to be the next Everton manager. That's all I'm gonna say.
What was that? Sorry.
Sean Dyche is 6-4 to be the next Everton manager.
Sean Dyche.
Mm-hmm.
He can't save this side now. It's too late.
I don't think so either. I think. I mean, this is what I want to talk about. Is like, what do we do at this point? Because it's all right saying sack the board, and it's one thing saying sack the manager, and the players aren't good enough, and all of that, and that we're going down. But there's still all right. We had the World Cup. We're halfway through the season. There is a chance that if we got in somebody who could give us a bit of a bounce and play a nitty-gritty style of football that makes us more competitive, that we could give ourselves a chance. I do think it's a slim chance of not getting to the final day and looking for some sort of escape, because we all
realistically, the only way a new manager is going to get a bounce is if the new manager arrives with players. like additional players that can help improve this team, because realistically, today that team was as close as we could get to first choice. Like that was everybody that we could play. The only guy who was missing realistically was Patterson and possibly Townsend. But that's it. That was basically everyone we've got. So, and I don't think they played bad. I agree with Dan.
No, you agree with me now?
No. What I'm saying is, I agree that they played
for
the
what
best
we are,
they
Jeff.
could.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, for what we
it
are.
got twisted. It got twisted.
Yeah.
What I wanted
to
to
play the best we can.
Yeah, but what I wanted to say though
is not good enough. That's
what I wanted to say though, and I'll come in now. And people say in the comments, say what you want. I'm not bothered. But
like, comment, and subscribe.
What I was gonna say is right. Listen, our board and our owners have run a shit. For that reason, we haven't got that good players. So you need to look at our team and accept what they are. Don't all of a sudden think that they can smash it. We've just got to accept what they are and look into them and try and get the best out of them.
That's the whole point.
That's what we've got. That's what we've got to do is get the best out of them, Jeff. And the thing is,
we've accepted that they're really poor.
But Onana was good. Onana was good today, by the way, and I'll always point that out. He was one of the best players. Him and Prowse was the best two players on the pitch. So I'm not going to put him with the others for being shit when he was absolutely amazing for me. Onana was good. The problem is
great game done. I don't have too much time.
The problem is though, Steve. This Alanga from Man United, some people saying he's shit. I think he'd be an incredible signing for us because he's better than what we've got.
Got no positivity, Andy.
He's better than what we've got. With what we've got, you're not going to get much better than what we was today. But if we go and sign like a couple of attacking players, it can help us. Of course, it can. We ain't got good attacking players. And our defense today.
We've been talking about that same thing since Richarlison went, and even
the owners have made it really hard for us to sign attacking players because we're playing around with hardly anything. But there's no point in crying about it because the situation is what it is.
It is what it is. We actually became slightly harder to beat, more cohesive defensively. We've fallen back into old ways, i.e. last season. Calvert-Lewin, 4.29 on BBC as a rating, says a lot. Onana was the highest scoring, no surprise there. And Calvert-Lewin scored one goal, and we're midway through January, yes, the World Cup. And that's our problem, the strikers, the lack of cutting edge, because some of the build-up play has shown better promise in the last 4 games.
Here's a question for you, though. Do you think
it was a 50-50 game, Dan? I looked at the stats. I've got the stats right in front of me. We had 53% of the ball. We had one shot less than them. One shot less on target. We had more corners, and we had 7 fouls to their 19. It was a 50-50 game. We went in 1-0 at half-time, deluded, thinking that, well, we weren't deluded.
We wasn't deluded. We knew.
Ryan at half-time thinking,
we knew.
Yeah, it's 1-0, but we're not getting carried away here because we know where this is going. And
we
then,
we didn't know. We hoped that would be better.
That quality, Ward-Prowse.
What are they going to change their name to, Kevin?
We lost to the quality that you mentioned. Ward-Prowse single-handedly.
It wasn't quality. It was mistakes.
Hang on a minute. Ward-Prowse puts the ball in the back of the net twice. There is an element of quality to what.
No, of course it is. You pay. It was good by him, but
sliding in. Tarkovsky, Cody are nowhere to be seen. They're probably watching a Whitney Houston film or something. They're nowhere to be seen on the pitch.
Ward-Prowse,
the last man, and then obviously Ward-Prowse looks like Gaza putting the ball in the net.
At the start of the game, though, Steve, right? Would you have wanted to? That was the position that you didn't want to give Ward-Prowse a free kick.
No,
you would say to the players, you could see it was going to score. It was a perfect position.
As soon as that went down, Pickford just looked disgusted.
Yeah, because you know you're in trouble. He's the best. He's the best there is at free kicks. Now. You should. I get, yes, Ward-Prowse doing that, fantastic. But us as a team, our mission was to stop Ward-Prowse. Now, leaving him one-on-one with a shot with Ben Godfrey was stupid, especially the two centre-backs getting drawn out. was stupid. You have to deal with players. And today we were supposed to deal with Ward-Prowse. We gave him a frigging birthday present today when it wasn't his birthday too, in fact. Because fact is, if Cody didn't go to Tarkowski and help him do a header, you don't need 2 players for a header, by the way, and stayed with Godfrey and him could have dealt with Ward-Prowse on the first goal. And on the second goal, you brought Gordon on. You say to Gordon, right, you're coming on for Coleman, your defensive thing has got to be bang on. Do not give them a free kick. By the way, this should have been said before the game. Do not give them a free kick on the edge of the box because Prowse will make you pay for it. So hold on, Gordon's come on. I just gave them a stupid free kick. By the way, there was no danger when Gordon did that. No danger at all. There wasn't going to score. Come in, give them a free kick and give Prowse what he likes. So those 2 things could have been dodged. That was all on us. That was on us. We made that happen.
Sorry to interrupt, but do you think we should put a player on the line?
I think with Prowse free kick, I wouldn't just say to Prowse, if you can get it over the wall, you score, because he will. Fact. We all know that.
You think we should have put a player on them. So that's poor management then, isn't it? That's poor management. I mean, 20 yards away in front of their supporters, 20 yards away from the goal. The point is, they came out second half with the impetus. They scored quickly, as we
the goal gave them the confidence. Though.
They look more interested. Yes, they've just got into the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. They beat Man City. But we've just seen that Man City are a bit soft in the centre because they've lost a few games. And they drew against us, for goodness sake. So I think that they've gone in to that dressing room with a completely different mentality. God knows what was said at half-time in our dressing room, but it's just complacency.
Nothing was said. I watched, and I'm not even joking. This is what happened at my moment. Right, I watched Cody come out second half, where they're standing waiting for it to kick off, and I thought Cody would have gone right. Switch on. We're 1-0 ahead. Let's protect this. And I thought he would have reared him up. He did nothing. He didn't say nothing. And that's what everyone says he's good at. I thought he would have said, right, get your head switched on. And I thought to myself, when I seen it, I thought, why haven't you told him that, Cody? And then all of a sudden, a couple of seconds later, they switch off. You've got to make, when we're 1-0 up, you've got to die to fucking keep that 1-0. You've got to absolutely do everything. And you've got to be at your best to hold on to that 1-0. Well, he wasn't. We went out of position. And the goal, I'm telling you, if they scored a good goal, that goal to make it 1-1, I'd put my hands up and say, you know what? We could not have done anything about that. But watching Cody go to Tarkowski, or whichever way it was round, when he didn't need to, get pulled out of position, when he should be with Godfrey, and left him exposed, and then Godfrey one-on-one, it's just so bad. It shouldn't happen. These are experienced defenders.
It's a definite mistake from Godfrey.
Yeah, but he shouldn't be one-on-one, though, should he?
But we've got blue or slightly grey tinted lenses on, and we are looking at it completely from our point of view.
When you watch it back, it's stupid.
It's a neat little finish. Of
course it will be. It's Prowse in the box with the ball of it.
If our player did that, I wouldn't be looking at what their player would be doing. I'd say that was well taken. He took it past the defender and he scored. Look, it's schoolboy stuff. It's getting worse. It has to change. Do you think by Monday it will? Do you think something's going to happen?
Sometimes I think the only way it can change is by accepting things. I think when I heard Cody go on Talk Sport and say we've defended well the last 2 games when he's conceded 6 goals, I think you deluded me. Less of the frigging talk. Less of the talk and more of the frigging...
We've lost 20 out of the last 37 games under Lampard. He has to go. I love him to bits. He has to go. He's not fit to do this job. It's a hard job. It's probably one of the difficult jobs in the league. It's probably arguably more difficult than managing a top team.
I don't even think it was Lampard's fault today. I think
because
it was the
you're trying to get blood out of a stone with the quality we've got. It's a championship. At best, it's championship. It's probably League One, top of League One squad. That's where it is. It's so low down. And we're just kind of embarrassing ourselves. It's getting worse and worse. They've got to stop the rot here. So what do? I mean, you've got Rooney at 2-1. He's not going to come in. He won't want to ruin his reputation at this point in his managerial career. We've got Martinez 7-2. They're the 3 front runners. And then you've got Moyes, Potter. I mean, it's kind of nonsense. Allardyce, Ferguson. Where'd you go? Do you put a stop to it? Because it's kind of like you've got this bullet train that's going, and basically it's us going backwards. And then it's like, well, where do you put a stop? Do you try and divert the rails? Because at the moment, we're just going to keep going in that direction. We've got to find a way to put a stop to this terrible form and terrible, terrible organisation at the back. And it's got to change. It's got to change with someone managing the team in the right way.
First of all, I will say I don't think it was Lampard's fault today. I think it was the players.
No.
I think
No, 'cause
Lampard set them up how we wanted to set them up.
Yeah,
Me and Jeff asked for that. I set him up. I thought he was going to go attack. He didn't. He played them exactly how they should. And he probably did the best he could, other than the Gordon sub. Other than the Gordon
sub. We spoke on
sub.
the stream before.
Yeah, it's not his fault today.
After the pre-match press conference, we were like, "Oh God, no, he's not.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to play a certain way." And like
But
we were
didn't.
both saying, we need to play three at the back. We need to play it tight, and we did. And he did all of that. So you can give him credit for that.
The next thing I will say, listen to this though. The next thing I will say, right? I'm not going to blame Lampard today because he set them up right. But one thing I will say is those centre backs have got away with it a couple of games now, and something's going wrong where they haven't been corrected and put right. Now, if we're to change manager, one thing I will say. Our defensive coaching clearly is shit. None of them, whether it's Lampard, Cole, or anyone, they're not sorting this defense making mistakes out right now. Sean Dyche, by the way, used to be a centre back. I think he knows his defensive stuff with watching Burnley better than what Lampard does. Do I believe? I don't like changing managers, but do I believe Sean Dyche would come in and put these defenders right and not let them get away with it like they have been? I think he'd definitely say something. I think he'd say you shouldn't be dragged over there because Sean Dyche used to be a centre-back.
I know, but it's easy to say at this point. Like, if Lampard was looking at another team on the TV as a pundit, which he might end up at the next, in a few months, he might end up as a pundit. It's an easy game, but actually doing it is very, very hard. Lampard has got the most difficult job.
I agree.
One of the most difficult jobs in the country right now, because he's basically working with a very low quality side, no money, a terrible board, a toxic environment. I mean, what else? I mean, it's like trying to play Monopoly with Old Kent Road against everyone else who's got Mayfair and everything else.
Yes,
it's an impossible game to be playing, and this can go one or two ways. We can either say, okay, Lampard is going to be the manager that leads us into the new stadium and gets us out of the Championship when we rebuild next year, or we can try and find some way to break the cycle.
You can't give up on the league. You can think what you want, and you can say we're down, and that's what everyone said on it. But you can't give up. If we're going to go, fact is, if we are likely to go down with the way we're playing, but you can't give up. Like I just don't get what you're supposed to. Are we supposed to just give up now? We can't give up. I generally don't think you can give up. I think you've still got to do everything you can to stay in this league.
I don't think I've
try and stay in the league.
I've just accepted reality.
Well, you're going to get a lot of shit games with the way they've been playing. That's fact, yes.
But it's one of those where I've watched this team for the last year, since the manager came in after the disastrously horrible Spaniard got sacked. This manager's come in, and there was no new manager bounce. In fact, quite the reverse. It took him ages to figure out that we can't play football and we've got to go to a more pragmatic defensive style. And we kept us up. Our insane cheering and flag waving and coach greetings and all that kind of stuff. We got this team to survive. And then it was over to the board to make the decisions necessary, to make the right purchases, to do the business required, to put us on a stable-ish footing. Because we knew we weren't going to come in the second half, in the next season and sort of challenge. That was obvious. But we just wanted to be a stable side, play a certain way. But again, Frank went back to we're going to play out from the back. We're not good enough to play out from the back. We're going to play a certain style of way. We haven't got strikers. How can we play a certain kind of way if we don't have strikers? We've got to cut our cloth accordingly. And Frank's failure to do that is one of the big things that is the reason why I think he's. Hang on a sec. That's one of the reasons why he needs to get sacked. The second reason is coaching. He's coached this team for a year now, and apart from possibly Iwobi, has any player improved in any way since he took over? No. Are the players faster, better organized? Are they like sort of do they know exactly where they are on the pitch at all times? Is the system working? Do we move across as a group, as a unit? Do we play as a defensive unit side to side? So when the ball goes out wide, that all the players come across, so that the right back is over towards the penalty area. That's the way you should do it. You move across side to side and you cover. And if the ball goes across, everyone moves across. It's just standard coaching. Do we do that stuff? No, we don't. We leave massive gaps between, like, we play three at the back today, and Tarkowski's over playing left back, and Godfrey's like massively out of position over to the right, and that's how we concede a goal. So we're badly organised, badly coached. The fitness hasn't been particularly any better than it was before. We don't look a threat. We're dreadful on set. We're like this. I don't know whether this is the first set piece we've scored from all season, or maybe the second. But we've not exactly been putting in amazing crosses or putting in amazing situations where we're trying to make use of what we've got to try and score goals. So, like, literally in every single department, we're failing. And the manager has to take as much responsibility as anyone else. But, like, yeah, he hasn't got the tools to challenge to be a decent side, but he can still do better with what he's got. And the fact is, he's failing to get the best out of these players. He's failing to get the best out of the tools that he's got. So he has to go because he's just not good enough. And then the rest of them, the players. We swapped quite a lot of the players from what we had before. Like, a lot of the mercenaries have gone, and we brought in other players who are supposed to be hard working and whatever. But the fact is that they brought them in. They're not good enough. McNeil, he isn't good enough. Tarkowski, he's very limited. The fullbacks are too slow. They're not defensively good enough. Garner, he's well past his sell-by date. We're just a poor side, poorly coached and poorly run, and yeah. So, people keep saying to be positive, or you should try and be positive, or you should try and have some hope or optimism, or we've got to hope for the best and stuff. And it's like, I can't get there. I can't get there anymore, because reality is just reality. When you get slapped in the face, it stings because it's real. It's not a fake slap in the face. It's a real slap in the face. It leaves a mark.
Jeff,
this team has left a mark on me.
We've been
it's
able
left
to
a mark.
I just want to say I heard Dave Weston, one of the regulars on the channel, say that obviously, by the way, we've got that much stuff to say. I've missed some of your comments, and if you're a regular on the channel or even new, I'm sorry I haven't dropped your comments on the screen. Let me just say this. I've just tried to drop your comments on the screen as Jeff's been talking, because I care about what you say, but there's just so much frustration. It was talk and not look at your comments. No, I know, but it says it in the comments that we haven't read them. But it is the fans' channel.
I've literally just been putting them up on there.
Jeff, I think you're right. He's not getting the best out of the players. It's not his fault that DCL was injured and has only scored one goal as a result of that. That's kind of the crux of the problem. If DCL scores goals, we're probably not in the bottom three. We're actually, for the record, joint bottom right now. So if that doesn't spare anyone into getting a sack in over the weekend or Monday morning, then I don't know what will. What are we waiting for? That's all.
Do you know what though? One thing I will say, and you'll probably both come at me, but I don't care. I don't think Calvert-Lewin played that bad today. He actually ran for the first time and he put himself about. What more do you think he should have done today? Because I don't
think he should have done any more, Dan. It's not.
He didn't get the service.
He's kind of still warming up to getting back in the side, and if that ball
he closed down a lot,
deflected, hit the crossbar, the Goodison Street end, if it goes in, he might go on
nice
now.
one, Dave.
he goes on to make a few goals in the next few games, but he's still scrapping around in a poor side with not the best service and wingers playing narrow, and it's poor. What can we say at this point?
We do
I'm
need
gonna-
some attacking players. Honestly, I'm not going to say things how they aren't. And normally I say Calvert-Lewin's lazy. I'm not saying he's a good player, by the way, but he definitely tried more than what he tried. So I'm not going to say he didn't try just because I'm pissed off with Everton. If you actually watch the game, Calvert-Lewin was running about and he's flicking things on for himself.
He does,
and he got no. He got nothing where you think he should have majorly scored.
This is a big one from David.
Other than the one that hit the crossbar where he nearly did, by the way.
We have no identity. Anyone out there who has any idea of what our style of play is? No. And you are spot on. We are 11 players on a pitch. We're not a counter-attacking team. We're not a long ball team. We're not an anything kind of team. We're a throw something at the wall and see what sticks. Try our best kind of thing.
We need to quickly move to an escape from relegation sort of side, and we know what style of football that includes, so we don't need to go into it. So we need somebody who's going to embrace that style now, not somebody.
So we're talking Sean Dyche then.
Well, we're not going to get Big Sam again, and I don't think they're going to give Duncan a chance. So where do we go? So, it's kind of like, it looks like it's going to be the 6th or 7th manager. But what it does highlight is maybe Benitez wasn't that bad. Maybe it was just toxic. Maybe he wasn't actually the problem.
No, he was dreadful.
I think his form is actually better than Lampard's.
Yeah, but that doesn't make it good.
And that was terrible. So
Benitez had the Charlton, didn't he?
All we need now
14 games on the run without winning says that he didn't have a clue what he was doing.
Yeah, well, we're going through a similar patch right now, aren't we?
You can't massively. Benitez wasn't that good, but the fact is, some managers that we've had that we've got rid of did have money, did get players, did get backed. By the way, so fair enough. I think they were shit, but as of late, the board messing us up financially. We haven't spent nothing we haven't spent much in the last 2-3 seasons. And if you don't invest in the last 2-3 seasons with good players, when you're already struggling, you're going to struggle even more.
Yeah, because the players have to be a level above.
To play, well, you've just said we haven't got a style. The reason we haven't got a style is to get a style in the Premier League, you need good players to be able to do it. And you need to invest. You look at Arsenal, like they've added a few players, and it makes things click.
Right.
I think Everton have got. I think we've got a good bunch of. Let me just say that
David Moyes had a style. He didn't have quality players, but he had a style of play. So you don't need quality players to play in a specific way.
I think we're so far off actually having a style.
If you've got rubbish players, you can come up with a system and a way of playing that makes the best of what you've got.
Man City was a good example of that.
It's a poor style, but it's still a style.
No. My point.
The style of football that we played.
I would disagree on that.
At the Etihad, where we got a point there, was the style of football we need to adopt now to the end of the season.
Right.
My point was
with it. We don't want to go in one day and say, we'll play Man City away. We better try and park the bus and try and get a point or something, rather than we come back home delusional that we're going to smash these bottom sides. We're the bottom side. We're the laughing stock of the league. I'm going to leave it there, guys, because I put the little one to bed. But he's 3 years old and he's seen 5 going on 6 Everton managers. So
I think
I hope there's change.
Sorry for I've just lost me.
Do you think Everton are any good?
I've had enough of Everton now.
Yeah. Are Everton any good?
No.
How you doing, mate? You all right?
I think he'd rather show you his trains.
Where is he? Do you think Everton are good?
This train. Look at this train.
Right, we're on a slowing train right now, JJ. We're on a big slowing
Just
train.
stick with the trains, mate. Stick with the trains.
Right. I hope, guys, by the next stream we've had some sort of change. Don't know who it's going to be or what it's going to be, but it needs to change.
Yeah. Go on, then. Are we going to go now, are we? I think that's probably the wise move. Or are we going to carry on? Are we going to carry on, mate?
There's loads on. And like I say, if we missed any comments,
Yeah, let's
It's
read some comments out.
been a nice heated one, but well, not nice because I'm pissed off with Everton, but just more pissed off with certain players today than Everton. But my point though, Jeff, to what I was saying to you earlier on is not. I was saying if you was to get a good style, you need good players to do it, and now we haven't got them. We've got to go to the one style that you can, because that's it. We've got to just do that style to stay up now. But I'm just meant like if we've tried to get a good style and we just haven't got the players to do it.
We lack
That's
quality, and that's
so it's got to be basic style of
we
sit
could
back
still
and
play with a specific.
it is what it is.
This is how Everton play, and we play that way every single game, not just like changing it every single game or trying. It's like this is how we play. We're going to play this way all the time. You might not like it. It might be shithouse football. It might be really boring to watch, but we're just going to like sit back. We're going to play 5 at the back. We're going to play 3 in midfield, or even 5-4-1, and we're just gonna go for long ball and try and nick something or whatever, and we're just gonna go for clean sheets. And like if you tried that, eventually that kind of football builds confidence because you start getting clean sheets. And that's what we started at the start of the season. And I felt like we'd started off the season, we didn't have any strikers, but we played in a certain style and we played a certain way, and we knew our limitations, and we just ground out some results. And you feel like you're going to start building up some confidence doing that. But then to try and start going and playing in a more advanced way, it doesn't work. We don't have the players for that. And I just think that, like, I don't know whether sort of Lampard sort of tried to play in a more adventurous way, and that was the cause of us starting to lose. And then the confidence goes, and then he's like, once the confidence is gone and we're starting to get like some seriously bad results, then it's like, then you're looking around for a solution, or we've got to try this, or we've got to try that, or we've got to try this. And he just looks like a manager who's out of ideas, who's tried everything that he knows, and it isn't working, and he doesn't know what to do. I just think he doesn't know what to do. And I do feel sorry for him in some respects, because like if we'd have had a good transfer window in the summer and brought in some decent players, we could easily be quite happy, solid mid-table, and he'd have been fine. And then you can build from there. But like the board let him down. It's like, we literally signed a few players on the never and some loans, and sold our best player.
Stupid.
And that was supposed to fix things. And it was like, Farhad Moshiri, judge me at the end of the window. Yeah, well, we judge you at the end of the window, and you failed. You let us down, and then you now are coming out on TalkSport and saying, "Oh yeah, the fans have been behind us and they've been really good." But they forced me to change managers, and it's like, the manager decisions were, that's what the fans wanted, and it's like, no, we didn't want Benitez, we didn't want Sam Allardyce, we did, like, you're lying to us, and then this stuff today about the, that's come out. It's like, oh, so and so put her in a headlock, and the fans have been getting
bullshit.
It's all this kind of stuff, and it's like, hang on a minute, this was supposed to have happened in the Brighton game.
Should have come out then if it happened.
It's
all lies. It's all lies.
And literally nothing has come out in the whole till literally just before kickoff today. So
when you go through shit, that's what they do. Jeff, I'm going to tell you to put, before we end this now. Ryan said go for. I was going through the comments anyway, but people have said that like they want the comments on. And by the way, it's this channel. I don't see it as about me. I see it as about the comments as well. So I'm just Jeff. I want you to hit these comments with one word back. So I'm going to drop this one now. Gordon isn't worth 60 million. What you got to say? 1, 2, 3 words on it, and we'll go through. There's quite a few, so we'll have to be quick.
Gordon was never worth 60 million.
Right. Next comment. Here we go. DCL. This is Fazza. DCL has never been good
enough. I completely agree.
Here's another comment. We'll drop your comments. It's important that we do read them out for me, because I love all you lot in the comments and the subscribers. So Jimmy Woods, if Everton did get relegated. It
People
feels
don't
worse.
agree with me on this, Jimmy. And I've had kickback on comments I've made about this. But sometimes we've had 30 years of misery and 30 years of kind of treading water, and we've lost our identity. We've lost everything that made Everton Everton. And maybe some years in the wilderness, like, is what has been needed, because we've just carried on, just sort of treading water. We're like, what's the, if you basically look at Everton Football Club, what is their achievement of the last 30 years?
That's a question. That's a question that's going to make it very hard to have a quick response.
Well, yeah, but like literally, what is our achievement of the last 30 years?
It's
being a Premier League club. We're a Premier League club. That's it. That's literally all we've done. We've won nothing. We've challenged for nothing.
I think we'd be fucked if we got relegated.
I think we would be fucked.
How much would it cost?
Would end for, like, here's the thing: is
I know we've got to get through these comments.
It wouldn't cost us anything, us fans.
I know.
It would cost
I just think
a shit ton of money. It would cost the people who put us in this position a lot of money.
I'd rather have the money on the players to try and get us out of this shit.
Right, but they're the ones who've got us in this shit as well. So they'll all leave.
I just want it to change,
and we will just have to rebuild and start again. And maybe this time we'll come back with some spine and some heart. Like this team doesn't have heart.
How much on this question, Jeff? How much do you think it will cost us at Lampard? Just quick words, because I've got to get through loads of these comments.
The remainder of his contract, which is a year and a half, so that's probably
that's that one.
About 13 million.
There's a deluded cop out in the comments. By the way, if you're cop out in your comments, so you've just signed how many players? Gakpo for how much? You've spent money on Nunes, and you're getting battered yourself. So to come in our comments and give it the big I am. I really, really don't see how you can be bragging that much when you spent all that money and just got battered by Brighton. By the way, I find it funny that you're in our comments when you just got battered. Yeah. Focus on yourself, because you spent all that money and you've just got battered yourself. So I think we're both a bit down in the dumps. So to give it large is bullshit. Yeah. Someone said Lampard in.
No.
Here's another one. Oh, just bullshit comment. I think DCL is not the answer either.
If he is the answer, what's the question?
I knew he was going to say something like that. last 12 months has been a joke. Just a quick one on that, Jeff. Yeah, we agree.
The last 3-4 years have been a joke.
Here's one of our regulars, Kevin Kraft.
Blame the handbags. No, I'm not going to make any comments about that.
Yeah, we're just keeping quiet. It's just more than that, isn't it? That's the problem. Drop comments. I'm going to go through. I will get to yours at the bottom now. I am dropping them.
I don't understand what that means.
No,
he's been
sorry.
On TV.
Could be our reading, but I don't understand that one.
No, I don't either. Can you do a poll in the chat now? Frank Lampard says Everton, yes or no? I don't. We're not the people who run this channel, so we don't know how to do that kind of crap. But yeah, no. The answer is
this.
No.
Next one was to me. DCL isn't a football. By the way, I didn't say he's amazing. I just said he doesn't normally try, and this time he actually put himself about. So, and then after that, I did read that Dave agreed with me. Like he agrees, he did put himself about, and he did try and close down and flicked it on for himself.
We don't play in a way that gets the best out of what we've got.
He didn't
realistically,
get much,
DCL is not a great footballer, but he's really good in the air, and he can score tap-ins. So the only way to get the best out of him is to play like 4-4-2, get down the side and put crosses in, and then he'll score goals. But he's I would literally swap him for almost every other striker in the league at the moment.
Said the same thing as the person here, Jeff. He just said we've got no resources up front, YouTube. But it's right. Yeah, I know. And I this is what I say sometimes. People think I'm being stupid, but I just say if you haven't got that, then you can't expect miracles. No. You need to know what you've got. I do think if we can sign, if we can land a couple of nice loans on attacking players, maybe a good winger and a good striker, it is going to help us. I'm not saying it's like the answer, but I'm saying it's definitely going to help.
It can't hurt. We can't get worse. I don't think
that's
we
what I say. We definitely need it. You can't give up, and we do need it definitely. If someone coming and started scoring goals, it can win you games. I mean, Prowse scored 2 today. Prowse was the difference. That's what I think as well.
That's because we don't have creativity in the side. Yeah, his timing's still off, TJ. He does jump a little bit too early.
Doesn't want to be Lukaku.
I always said.
Sorry about that. We can't help who's in the chat.
DCL went bad, right? I can literally tell you when DCL went bad. He went away for the summer after the season where he played really well, and he bulked up. And he did the same as Lukaku. He went away and he bulked up. And you saw him when he came back. He'd put on lots of muscle and whatever. And he put muscle on his legs. And ever since then, he's got injury after injury after injury. And he's lost all his time. And so he basically did a Lukaku. Instead of just being what he was, he tried to.
I thought he was going to get a goal today at the crossbar. I thought, you know what? He does it. I thought, yes, that can get him going because we need him. Basically, you ain't got another striker. He's the best we've got.
Yeah,
we need him to be as.
Yeah, and you say Bat Salmon and Dice are dinosaurs, but maybe we need a dinosaur because we've got a dinosaur football team.
Who's going to come to us? Like I say, I think Daesh is the. If you're on about who's going to come to us with players, we're not advertising at the minute. You kind of just hope that it's going to be players that are not getting a shout at Manchester United or something that want to play football.
Players on loan,
yeah, just players that want to play.
I just don't see us spending any money on anyone because, Mashiri can say whatever he wants, but he thinks that he knows that this is a relegation. We just survived on the last, on literally a last-minute goal in the Crystal Palace game last year. Otherwise, we'd have got relegated last year, and I just don't think he wants to invest money, and I think that's why we sold our best player, and then we've brought in some journeymen and some donkeys, and maybe a couple of kids on Klarna, and that's what we've done because we don't want to risk getting into financial fair play. That's why, there was offers on the table. Apparently, there were offers on the table for Iwobi, Gordon, and Pickford, and they were all agreed, and they were all going to be signed. And Everton Football Club withdrew the offers for all 3 players. Now, why did they do that? Iwobi was ready to sign. Pickford was ready to sign. He's happy to stay. And Gordon was ready to sign. And all of the contract offers have been removed. Why? Because they fear relegation and they don't want to be stuck with players on massive wages. They can't afford it. I just think this club's getting set for relegation. And that's why we're not spending money and we're looking for loan players when we should have banged on day one of the transfer window, had players lined up and signed, ready to go, so they could come in and make a difference. And we didn't do that. And when we didn't do that, I thought, this is bad. And that's my concern. And go on, next question.
I'm at the end of the question. There's that many questions. Honestly, I just scrolled down forever and I can't read it. I can't. Newcastle, even Newcastle fans, they've been in the Championship, so they can't give it to.
You got to give credit to Newcastle.
They're doing well, and I'm not one I haven't. Newcastle fans seem to have a problem with Everton fans. I don't care. I respect what they've done. It's what they probably learned from us because we had the money and we spent it wrong. They've had it right.
Said they learned
for a good manager. Yeah, so I don't. Newcastle fans, they probably want shit that isn't even there from me because they're doing well. They've got a good manager. They haven't overspent and they're being sensible. I don't really give a shit about Newcastle, but I know for a fact they went in the Championship and they've had some bad times as well. So give it large now, but. You've had your bad times as well, mate.
Duncan Ferguson. Lampard out, Duncan Ferguson and Lee Carsley in immediately.
not the answer. It's
I,
not.
do you know what I think? I think that if we're going to go down,
I don't think. I'm not saying we're going to go down. By the way, I just need to keep pointing that out because
if we are,
yeah, I know. I'm just saying that I'm not on that train.
Ferguson are the kind of people like Lee Carsley might be the kind of person that you bring in if you're in the Championship because he's a young up and coming manager, and he might be the person who can galvanise the team and get you organised and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think either of those are managers who are going to come in and save you. It's the situation that you're in.
I think they're just going to be too. It depends. There's so much that we're going to end this now, but it depends because there's just so much going on. It's more than the manager. I mean, a manager could come in and he could have these board controlling him still, and the owner controlling him still. So if that's the case, it doesn't matter who comes in because they're the ones that are massively destroying the club, the board and the owner. So I think that we've got, as an Evertonian, I just think we've got so many problems at the minute that we do need to change the manager, but we need to sort the board out first for me because if you've got loads of different things that are going wrong, you don't sort out one thing and everything's solved. You have to go through everything. And that's why we've done the strike today, because basically the reason our squad isn't good enough and the reason we're struggling to sign players such low budget is because I'm saying this as an ending, it's because we've been run shit. And the situation is because of them. And that's why we're in it. Now, as Everton fans, we know it's going to be hard because we're left with one of the poorest teams we've ever had. But we'll still get behind them to try and stay up. But if we do manage to stay up, which is going to be really hard as looking at that team today, but if we do manage to stay up, like we get someone in and just keeps us up, because that's all I want to do this season. If we do manage to stay up, we've got to change the owners. We've got to change the board and the owners. Now, if the owner's not going to change till the stadium's done, which I don't believe, he probably won't, I don't know. But if he's not going to, I still want to change the board because I want to get someone on that board now that's going to come in and start taking action on the plans, because you don't come in as a board and stuff happens straight away. I want the new board to come in whilst this season's been finished and plan for us and show us some fucking light and change things. Because if you keep this owner and this board, you're fucked.
He'd be an excellent choice, but would he actually come to us now because we're on and he's getting ready to get promoted?
It's just he hasn't. I think Company's a cracking manager. I've watched him defending showing his team how to defend, and I thought, he could be good for Everton. But
coach,
but is he experienced enough? Like honestly, all I think we need now is someone to keep us up. So I think we need someone experienced that knows how to, when the pressure's on, how to get the players to get something when the pressure's on, how to get the players to deal with the pressure. Now, for me, Sean Dyche is the man because he's always had pressure. He's always had pressure to keep Burnley in the Premier League, and he's always had pressure to try and get teams into the Premier League. So I think Sean Dyche, for me, I think he could be the man. I really do, because I don't think he'd let... Sean Dyche is a bit of a character. I don't think he'd let some of the players get away with the shit they did today. And I'm not happy with what they did. And I think they need to be put right. I think Cody and Tarkowski slacking on the name for me.
This is an interesting comment here from the Blues. Ashley Cole, we do need to mention that the fact that we thought we had like a dream team of a backroom team. What are they doing? Like
the big problem is, Jeff,
your other people like that is that they were brought in as part of this. When Frank came in, he brought in this backroom team, and Lampard is the front and centre man, and he gets a lot of the criticism, deservedly so. But what are the backroom team doing as well? Because, like you say, they're defending at set pieces, or they're positioning for the goals today, or not covering the post on the set piece, or things like this. That's what your backroom team are supposed to sort. And on attacking set pieces is we did score a goal today because we've got an absolute monster, and he found one, but generally over the course of the season, our set pieces, both attacking and...
Do you know what? Honestly, I tell you what, honestly, I don't think
Yeah, they
Keane.
did. But
I don't think Michael.
about
I don't
7
think
years,
Michael
they-
Keane. I don't think Michael Keane and fucking Holgate would have been as bad as those centre backs today.
No. Dave,
I
this is an argument against Sean
really
Dyche.
don't.
It's like he got relegated with Dyche's team. They
No, he
didn't.
didn't.
No,
The owners
they
bailed on
stayed in the
Dyche. They
Premier
bailed on
League
him.
for about 7 years, and then they got a takeover, and basically the people who took over the club sold half of Dyche's team from underneath him.
He would have kept him up and
then
took
they
us down.
struggled. Yeah, and then they struggled, and then he lost his job. But like that was because like they sold half of his team on him, so he doesn't really get all the blame for that.
What you
shouldn't
need
get
to.
all the blame for
I
that.
hear this all the time, and I watch all the Dyche interviews and stuff like that. And I'm just
What
another
a
thing.
close
What you've got to remember is right. Dyche is the best at the second half of the season. When the pressure's on, that's where he's a good manager. He's always kept them up at the end of the season.
Hey up, Rose, how you doing?
And he didn't get that chance. Here we go. Deluded Dan. I love it. What are you going to say? No, I'm just saying. Probably Keane would have frigging not got pulled over like frigging Cody did. But Cody and Tarkowski, I'm behind. I've said the class, but they're not being what they're supposed to be.
No.
They're just a name that's not living up to that name. They really aren't. And I'm telling you, I can see why Wolves frigging move Cody on with the way he's playing for us. He can play better. He's experienced.
Not a bloody
He's
chance.
experienced. He's fucking.
He's even worse. God, would I take Jesse Marsh? No, absolutely not.
Last comment by Kevin Kraft to end the show. Frank will have to take on board. He's taking.
There's a question: if Frank gets sacked, which
we're not going down.
which is likely, does he
We're not
get
going
another
down.
job?
Dave, what you saying? I'll drop you as well.
Chelsea have signed Mudryk. Oh, Christ.
This is the problem, though. The Premier League, you need money. You
Frank
need
get another
money.
job if he does Frank get another job if he gets sacked? Or is that the end of his management career at the top level?
He gets another job.
But
job.
Not in the Premier League.
He's got it. No, he's got to learn. He is learning at us, but unfortunately, you can't learn in the Premier League because it's one of the hardest leagues ever. I honestly think, Jeff. I think
he ends up managing in America or something like that. At best.
Yeah, he'll come back. Look how old he is. He can like be the best manager he's going to be at 60 years old and have an amazing career. Do you know what I mean? He's got time on his hands, hasn't he? He's not necessarily finished. I wouldn't say he's finished. I think he's just got loads of learning to do. It's like a job, isn't it? The longer you're at the job, the easier the job gets. And Lampard, he needs to be in it a long time to get better. 85. Oh, go on, Dave again. I'm dropping your comments, Dave, because I felt bad that we wasn't reading your comments out. 85 million, surely. He only doesn't care about FFP.
No, because they basically right. The thing with Chelsea is what happened is they had a takeover, and when a takeover happens, you get a 3-year grace period. It's the same with Newcastle, and it's the same.
Things on about Mudryk, Mudryk.
Yeah, the Mudryk deal is him going to Chelsea, and they're saying, "What about FFP?" He doesn't care about FFP because he bought out the club. And when you buy out the football club, you basically reset the FFP counter for 3 years. So they've got 3 years to balance out everything that they do.
Right, just put this now. Takes Chelsea to 500. See what I mean? This league
but they got
is
took
not
over
easy.
last year, and that's why is because the count when you get a takeover, your FFP counter gets reset immediately from the point of the takeover, and then you've got 3 years to balance your books. So that's why they're getting away with it.
Do you know what? The way football is nowadays, you do need to. And so some teams like Brighton are performing well and they haven't spent. Luckily, they've got a good scouting system to hit the gems. But you do need, Jeff, to spend in this league. You do need money because even teams like Bournemouth are buying players at the bottom, and that you need money.
Because here's the thing, right?
We need something. We need to sign someone.
The thing is, okay, you can say you need to spend money in this league. Brighton just beat Liverpool 3-0
because they got a good young
last week. Their entire team cost less than Alex Iwobi, so you don't need to spend money. You need to have a great
If you run
scouting
well.
system,
Yeah, if you
good
run well.
management, and a good behind the scenes operation, and you can make a profit and still be a good competitive.
But what I'm
side.
saying now, though, I get if we was run well, to be run well, it takes time to be in Brighton's situation with the good players they've got.
Yeah, if
you run well, it takes time. But Jeff, if you're the manager now for Everton, right? I'm giving you the manager job. Do you want money? Do you want money to get us out of this shit?
In the position we're in now,
yeah, in the position we're in, we need money.
Let's go back a little bit and say, let's say for example, if
that's what
I
it
was
is. The position we're in.
If I was the manager and we sold Lukaku and we got 90 million.
Oh yeah, long term we should have.
Right?
We made mistakes. I know what you're saying. We should have.
We could have bought, but what did we do? Is
we haven't. That's the thing.
In a scattergun approach because we didn't have.
We're paying for that. That's because we've been run shit. I know that's.
It's not about money. It's about how you spend what you've got. You can make the best of the resources that you've got if you're a well-run club.
If you run well, then that's if you're a well-run club, that's how you be good without spending a lot. But we ain't we are not a well-run club. So if you're not, we need a bit in this window to keep us up. I don't know how much we've got to spend. I don't know, but I'm ending this now. One thing I will say is, like, I know for a fact everyone's pissed off, but one thing I will say is we will try to stay. I know no matter how pissed off people are, the next game, all you people will be back, hoping that we can do something. We will fight to stay up. And fact is, we've got to fight to stay up. That's the situation. We've got games ahead of us, and we've just got to fight to stay up. And if we fight and we go down, then that's what it is.
I'm not even going to dignify that. I'm not even going to dignify that by reading it out. Roy Hodgson, bugger off.
I'm going to leave you a positive because they ain't many positives. I'm going to leave you a positive, right?
West Ham manager might be available. Well, you know, like if we were to beat them next week, then yeah, probably. But yeah, they'll probably get an excellent result against us next week. So
the positive is that there's not many positive, but the positive, the board, I think, could honestly think we've got the ball rolling on the board. I think them not turning up could be the start, and I really hope that fucking board change. And fair play to all that. I just want to say this: fair play to all those Everton fans that striked, because the board have been rocked a little bit, because they would normally turn up even if you frigging don't want them to, and they didn't turn up today. They shit it. So hopefully we can push the board out. That's one positive. And another positive,
I don't want to say anything about Tony Bellew, but
Onana had a good game.
Insert the hand gesture of your choice, and you'll probably agree with me.
Right, Jeff, last words. Going to shoot it. Everybody in the comments, try to read them, try to keep you involved. Just going to go stress out more.
I don't know whether Frank's still got a job, but he shouldn't have it.
We just don't know, do we? Moshiri is
freaking. And the board are a disgrace.
That's it.
Well, you know, I'd like to put something positive on it, but I just can't. We
will be back.
You can't disguise, hide, pretend, or fake reality. Reality is what it is. We are dreadful, and we're getting relegated.
I don't
something happens.
Something happens.
Unless something happens miraculous.
Hopefully it does.
Then I don't see how this team survives, because we are not good enough. So, this has been said before a few times. It's like, oh, this is the most important transfer window in Everton's history.
It is.
This is the most important 2 weeks in Everton's history, because
getting some good attacking players. Come on,
the required quality in the next 2 weeks, we're done.
3 good attacking players. 3 good attacking players and good signings. Like, they can't be shit. 3 hungry attacking players. And we need to, like, say my example is Elanga. People say shit, but say if he comes in and he does like a Jesse Lingard did at West Ham, and he gets himself 8 goals at the second half of the season, it could help us. And that now it might not. I'm always going to hope on Everton staying up because it's my team. They're shit. They're not playing well, but I'll always be behind them. So here's the banner.
Except for me, Dennis, I didn't.